All right, we need some help with ions, cations, and anions. I hope by completing this activity, this concept gets cemented into your brain. Please make sure you have your periodic table out. It is the most valuable resource for completing this data table. You can see I have given you the element symbols. I'm going to work through a couple examples to help you and leave the rest for you to practice. Now, let's start with lithium, the example I have done for you. The symbol is Li. I want to find that element on my periodic table and make note of what group it's in. So lithium is right here in group 1 on the periodic table. If I look at the headings I have above each group, I can see that lithium and all the other alkali metals have one valence electron. So now for these next two columns, I have to think, is this element a metal or a nonmetal? Because a metal wants to lose electrons and a nonmetal wants to gain electrons. So for these two columns, number of electrons the atom wants to gain and number of electrons the atom wants to lose, one of these columns will be 0 for every element, depending on whether the element wants to gain or lose electrons. So metals want to lose electrons. So this column here about the number of electrons lithium wants to gain, it doesn't want to gain any. It's a metal. Metals don't gain electrons, so that's going to be 0 or none. How many electrons does lithium want to lose if it reacts? Well, that's the same as the number of valence electrons it has. So that's going to be 1 in this case. So now the final charge on the ion. What happens if lithium loses 1 electron? That means there's 1 more proton in lithium's nucleus than there are electrons surrounding lithium's nucleus. So that results in a +1 charge. Anything with a positive charge is a cation. Let's jump to the bottom of the table and work through the last two examples. If you find I on your periodic table, you'll see it's in group 7. It is iodine. To get the valence electrons, all you have to do is look at the column heading. Anything in group 7 has 7 valence electrons. It's only 1 electron away from having 8. So that should help you with the next two columns. First of all, is iodine a metal or a nonmetal? Since iodine is on the right side of the staircase, we know it's a nonmetal. Nonmetals want to gain electrons. Well, how many do they want to gain? Well, what's the number that gets you to 8? Iodine wants to gain 1 electron. In this first column, number of electrons the atom wants to gain, iodine atoms want to gain 1 electron to get to 8. How many is it going to lose? None. 0. Nonmetals don't lose electrons. So for iodine, the number of electrons the atom wants to lose will be 0. What would be the final charge on the atom? Well, an iodine atom is going to gain an electron. It's going to have 1 more electron in the electron cloud than it has protons in the nucleus. So overall, it's going to have a -1 charge. Also, the charge on the ion is another column heading that we made. All the halogens will have a -1 charge when they make an ion. Negatively charged ions are anions. Well, how about Ne? If you look up Ne, it's in group 8. It's a noble gas. Ne is neon. All the noble gases have 8 valence electrons. Check out the column heading. Then we got to think, is it going to gain or lose electrons? This one might be a little confusing. It's on the right side of the staircase. Oh, it's a nonmetal. It's going to gain electrons. But hold the bus for a second. It already has 8 valence electrons. The whole point to gaining or losing electrons is to get a full outer energy level. Noble gases already have a full outer energy level. So whenever you stumble across a noble gas, both of these columns will be 0. A noble gas is not going to gain any electrons. No. A noble gas is not going to lose any electrons. No. A noble gas is not going to make an ion. No. Is neon going to form a cation or an anion? Neither. It doesn't form an ion. Noble gases will not form ions. The rest of this table is up to you. If you use your periodic table and understand its power, you should be able to fill out this table no problem. If you have any questions, please let me know.